Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Pink Edit podcast. How is everyone doing? I'm still trying to get used a little bit of how this podcasting works, but we're slowly getting there. But I think today we'll be talking about university, just because by the time I'm recording this, the video that's coming up on my channel is my first week of uni semester, which is crazy. I can't believe already it's been that quick. I don't think I'll ever stop talking about, to be honest, the feeling of already reaching third year or your final year in university, just because it's kind of like your last normalcy of life that you've experienced since basically you can remember, because going to school, just having that routine of you have to wake up, you gotta go to classes, gotta go to school, have packed lunch at school, come home when school's over and do homework, and that's like your life day in day out for 5 days a week, and you had 2 days off. Obviously uni's a little different just because I have 4 days off. Crazy to say that, but my schedule is basically first 3 days of the week I have classes, and then literally Thursday I have nothing until the following Monday. So basically I got a 4-day weekend. It is so nice. But today I'll talk about what's like being specifically a uni student and everything that comes with being a university student, how applications work and stuff like that, because honestly I wish there was more videos about the whole process and everything when I was applying for uni, to be honest, because most of it was vaguely explained to me by teachers, which is not really helpful, obviously. So yeah, I remember quite a lot of my the whole process of applying to uni when I was in sixth form. But in the UK, this is more talking about UK, to be honest, but I remember they just introduced to us what UCAS was, which was just a company or a website that helps you apply to university, and they don't really explain about UCAS points specifically, because I remember hearing of that, but I don't actually know what that was. So it's basically equivalent to grades and stuff. So in a sense, it's BTEC is equivalent to A-levels grades. It's the same with UCAS points and the grades you get at the end of college or sixth form. But I applied for 5 different options. 2 options that I applied for were to the same university but 2 different courses. But for those who don't know, you do have to pay for UCAS to apply for university. It's about I think, if I remember correctly, roughly £30 to send off 5 applications. It's either you pay for 3 applications or 5. So I personally would say apply for 5 because it's much more worth your money. Plus also you have those extra 2 options if you were not happy with the 3 you have, or if anything doesn't go to plan. But I applied to Cardiff University. I applied for 2 courses. I then applied to University of Southampton for some reason. I actually don't remember why. I think it was just because there was no other universities that I wanted to apply for, and instead of paying the full £30 for 4, I decided to do 5 instead. I've applied for Bristol and then Aberystwyth Uni. I got accepted into all of them besides Bristol, just because I had all 4 of those applications reply back to me very quickly, and Bristol, I think Loki is notorious for taking very, very long time to get back. So I was I knew which uni I want to go to, and because if I accept it, I can start applying for things like accommodation, stuff like that. And I was really worried that I would not get a place in accommodation, stuff like that. So I withdrew my application from Bristol, actually. But I was still pretty happy that I got accepted to 4 anyways of my choices, even though one of them was just literally just for the sake of applying, because there was no other unis that actually caught my eye, to be honest. So yeah, but before even applications properly start, I do remember as well, my school took us 6th formers on a trip to one of the universities that was hosting the UCAS university fair. So basically they just go to a uni and UCAS will set this whole thing up where loads of students from all different schools and colleges and stuff can come for the day, and there's just loads and loads of stalls of actual unis, and you get to ask the people there about like how the uni life is, about your course specifically, what grades roughly you need, stuff like that. And I think that happens in year 12 actually for me, which is fair amount of time so that you roughly have an idea when you come to apply for it, because applications are quite a fast and quick process that you actually have to like catch up to. So normally you would have to write personal statement, do all your applications, and have your teachers write like, I think, recommendation stuff basically. And roughly they should be doing it very quickly, and you should send these off by roughly by November. It should not be any time past that, to be honest, just because a lot of unis actually do start like accepting it in like December, because I remember like being in class, it could be in Welsh back or something like that, and someone just goes, oh my god, I just got a notification, because you get a notification every time there's an update to your application, and people would open it and then they said, oh, we got accepted into blah 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 university. And I remember I had to wait longer than most people, because most of mine started coming back in January. And yeah, so I was like, okay then. But yeah, that was really nerve-wracking, because it was more like, even if you did good, what if the unis did not want to accept you, just because like depending on the course you choose, it is quite competitive. So but I was pretty relieved that I got accepted into 4. I'm not gonna lie, this is just personal experience from one of the unis I applied to. I'm not gonna say the name, but one of the unis that I got accepted to, so out of the four options, obviously like I said, 2 of the applications were to the same uni, so 3 universities. One of them got back to me, and this uni actually is like low-key easy to get in, just because it's like in a place where basically the only people out there are like very local surrounding areas, or you have foreign exchange students, mostly Americans there. Anyways, if you know, you know. But when I got accepted into that university, I had the option of to take like entrance exam basically, so that I have either like I enter through grade entries, like grade and requirements, or if I do this exam, I just get accepted into it. But also a funny thing that they asked me personally was proof of citizenship, and I actually found out by doing my own research, of course, but the uni I applied, that uni asks anybody who has even a slight twinge of like basically foreigners in them, because in my school there was mostly majority white people, so that's how I know, because I got asked for proof of citizenship, but my white classmates who applied to the same university did not get asked that question. And then I was like, this can't be correct, right? And I got told by a classmate that their friend from a different school, who is half white, half Indian, but have like the last name is an Indian name, they were asked for proof of citizenship as well. So that put me off that university so much. Not that I also really want to go to that university, it was like my backup choice, but that put me off so much. I don't know why, but that was just really off-putting for me, to be honest. So yeah, but anyways, when it comes to acceptance and then results day, I remember like some of my friends got unconditional offers. All of my offers were conditional, unfortunately, but some of the ones with unconditional offers were just like always saying like, oh, that I've got an unconditional, that means I don't have to do too well in your exams. But what people don't know, that even if you get an unconditional offer, if you flunk your exams so bad, they can withdraw that unconditional offer from you. So that does not mean that if you receive an unconditional that you can get away with not studying and anything. You still have to, because they can revoke it if your grades are just horrific. And that's funny because a classmate of mine, he got an unconditional offer to a uni for architecture and did kind of bad in his exams, but he still got accepted, which I think with like recently is because not many people want to go to university, so they just take in as many people who apply as they can, not considering their grades anymore, because they actually did lower grade boundaries the past 2 years, like 2 years after I got into university. So I was always like kind of saying like, oh, I should have like applied to uni the year after, but oh well. But yeah, just remember that just because you got unconditional does not mean you're secured for life at that university, because they can always withdraw that application. Anyways, when it comes to choosing accommodation and moving in, making new friends, basically starting a university career, I was asked to rank all the available like options for accommodation for first year on our like university like intranet stuff. And for some reason I thought, you know what, I live with two guys, my brother and my dad, and they're not as clean because at the end of the day they're men. So I thought I applied for all females accommodation, thinking girls are cleaner than guys, so this will be easy. Oh, how wrong was little Eleanor. There's just no way that what I experienced, you would believe it. So basically my flat, when I moved in, so flats were each floor of the building, because there was 3 different parts of our all females, but our one was like each hall was different. So for my hall, we had 3 flats, meaning 3 floors, and my flat was the biggest one out of all the entire like accom. I had to share my accom with about 25 other girls. I've never heard of that before, because normally I would expect, you know, like 6-ish people in a flat. For mine, it wasn't. And I was like, okay, this is crazy, but that's fine, because we had 2 kitchens. We had the main big kitchen and then a kitchenette closer to the further rooms. And we had quite a lot of like bathrooms and toilets and stuff to like basically share between all of us. But the cleanliness is just a different like thing, because I remember, this is TMI, but the first week, not even first week, it was the first couple of days that, you know, when people moved in and stuff, I heard this and I only actually went to low-key check just to make sure it wasn't a lie. But I was told by somebody living obviously in my flat that one of the toilets was left clogged and it looked like Shrek's swamp. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, someone just has a really bad diet or something. They went to the toilet and clogged it up. And I was like, what the? Yeah, but what do you mean by a swamp? Why does it look like Shrek's one? And it was like, oh, it's probably still there because the toilet pipes are so small in our building because it's like an old building. If you obviously like have too much, it's not gonna flush properly. And I didn't fully put my head in to look. I already saw the toilet bowl like from the door, and oh, that was gross. And what makes it worse, that for some reason some of the key or like cars that beep in and out of buildings and stuff, our ones couldn't get into the next hall's one, but that hall can get into ours. And some of the girls from that hall actually walked into our hall, and because our floor is where it is connected, they actually were talking about it at dinner time because we were park catered, and they were like, oh my god, how can someone leave the toilet like that? And I was horrified because, to be honest, even if it's not me, I promise it's not me, but say it's not even me who did it. It's so embarrassing to have just other people knowing that like that happened in your flat. But yeah, that was not, great, not very. And funny enough, that toilet clogging happened probably 3 times that entire year. Don't even get with the kitchen as well. That shit was left so dirty and disgusting. People leave their dirty dishes inside and around the sink. We had somebody set off the fire alarm because they put, I think, what I assume was a wrap or tortilla wrap into the oven, and then they walked off and forgot that they put it in the oven. So by the time
funny enough, it was me who came across it. Still, I walked in and I was like, why is it so warm around the corridor just outside the kitchen? And why is in the kitchen so warm? And I walked past the oven and just felt that heat blasting out of it. Already knew someone just left it on and basically tried to kill us all. And so I opened the window, turned off the oven, and then I just opened the oven door, and then that's what set off the fire alarm, because obviously there was loads of smoke. And yeah, I still have the picture in my Snapchat memories. It's literally a burnt tortilla wrap or like a pizza base or something, and it's all black because it's completely charred, like burnt, because it was on the top shelf, and it cracked into 3 separate pieces, and nobody ever owned up to that. And our stoves were induction stoves, so you can't tell if the flame is on or not. The only time you can tell is there is a light on that stove that tells you it is on. Also, you can feel the heat of it, and if it gets too hot, it starts releasing an invisible flame. I've come across that twice. I don't even understand why it's always me who come across something like that. It really annoyed me, and the oven was left on again and a separate time. So yeah, I was not happy with that, and it was horrific. Moving into like a private account, as in like, you know, a normal housing one, it's much better just because I'm not sharing a space with that many people anymore. I only live with 3 other people, and I have been for the past 2 years, so it's not too bad that like I'm sharing space with less people, because I don't think I would experience living with 25 other girls in a flat again. And you can tell because I'm tripping over my words. It's just no way. But making new friends and joining societies. I met loads of obviously my friends from my accommodation, actually, because it was an all girls accom, and I found that really easy. Um, I did make some friends through societies as well, and I'm still friends with some of them, even though they've graduated and stuff, because obviously society is like literally anybody. Um, but yeah, I'm part of the K-pop society at uni. I still am, because obviously I upload those dance covers. Where do you think I learn them? I don't have spare time if I don't go to these classes. I was also part of the Abacus one for the past 2 years, and then 3rd year this year I have not bothered. Abacus is literally just like, it's supposed to be something about British and Chinese like society, but anyone joins it anyways. But yeah, I'm not part of it anymore. Like, I haven't gone to any of their social events or anything. But yeah, that was it really. Like I said, making friends is low-key easy, but also at the same time not. If you're really introverted, sometimes it could be very difficult. But personally, I am like, personality wise is an I, but I'm more of an extroverted introvert. So like, if it gets awkward, I can't stand it. I hate being in like awkward silence or anything. So I'm the one who breaks the ice. Like, I just sometimes can't handle it, and I'd be like, okay, it's time to talk. And you know, that's actually how I've become friends with people. Is like, I just started talking, especially if it's something like K-pop or like dance. I can find it easier to talk to people just because we share a same interest, and I know I won't get judged from it. Because even if K-pop has become mainstream, you know, the locals will still make fun of you for liking K-pop. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with like, if I'm in a K-pop society and I start talking to them about K-pop, because we share the same interest. That's why we're at the event right now. But yeah. So yeah, I say making friends, it depends how adventurous and how like, how do I say this, like unintroverted, if that makes sense, or if you're just willing to just break the ice just because you can't stand awkward silence. I generally cannot, so that's why I do it, and I don't regret it, to be honest. But another thing that happened at uni is I actually changed courses in 1st year. So the first week I got in because I got accepted into literature and language, English lit and lang. But after the first week, I got put off from literature, especially because my teachers at school made it unbearable. So I kind of started hating it a lot. But I swapped to English language and linguistics, and I actually find it much more better and more interesting, because I think with linguistics and language, it's more about analyzing like real day issues and stuff more than say literature does. I'm not saying that literature doesn't. It's just that like some of my modules have been really interesting and stuff, and it mixes other things into it, like sometimes marketing, sometimes IT, psychology, sociology, stuff like that. So it gets really, really interesting, and it's just not like main focus on just like written books that have been published and quite popular. So yeah, but yeah, I did change courses and I'm much happier. Unfortunately though, recently with unis, they have been like very understaffed or, you know, underfunded or something. And so what I don't like though, what the hell am I talking about? Currently, I meant, with my course is that some of the modules I chose for third year, because we choose at the end of second year, they got rid of it over the summer, and then they made us re-choose our module selections at the beginning of third year, and I don't understand how that happens. Well, actually, I do. They tell us that either some of the lecturers are on research leave, or the others is just that they have no one to teach it, which doesn't make sense because you should have known that before you put it out as an option. Because one of the options that got taken off over summer was something about like digital writing and stuff like that, and I'm very interested in like digital writing, just because like, you know, it's basically what we do almost every day in our lives, and I'm really interested in stuff. And I did a module about that, I think back in first year. Was it end of first year and beginning of second year? I can't remember, but there was a writing in digital age, and that was actually really, really interesting. But yeah, I was kind of low-key upset that was taken off, because look, I'm paying $9,500. I should be able to choose the modules I wanted and you've given without you changing your mind over the next 2 months. So yeah, I was kind of annoyed by that. But other than that, it's pretty good. Anyways, we're going to talk about just like how uni's been for me so far. So I'd say my course has been okay. Obviously, like I just mentioned, I'm quite annoyed that they changed the module selections over summer, because I was really excited to do some of the modules I chose and they taken off. But anyways, yeah, but like I said, my course has been okay. How I feel about it being my last year, as mentioned in the beginning, I cannot fathom that this is gonna be the last couple months I'm gonna be in this educational kind of routine that I've been doing for the past almost 20 years of my life. And obviously graduation is in July. They actually sent us the days and times that we're graduating, so it's a whole week of graduation, and obviously they do different schools on different days and at different times. Turns out I graduate at 9:30 in the morning. Guys, I can't do this. And you're supposed to be at the venue like I think half an hour early or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to waking up really early just to graduate, because I feel like I just would be napping low-key mid like speech and stuff, because it's just so early. Like, why is graduation at 9:30 in the morning? It couldn't be pushed back to like at least 10:30. But yeah, graduation at 9:30. I am not excited to be waking up that early. But yes. And with the future as well, obviously I most likely will be continuing with YouTube, with podcasting, because it's something I'm very passionate about. It's something that I've been wanting to do since I literally loved watching YouTubers when I was younger. And I always had these videos when I was younger of pretending I was doing a YouTube tutorial, especially during like that Loom Band craze. I have so many on my mum's old tablet. I don't think we can access anymore just because of how old that tablet is. But yeah, I've always wanted to do YouTube, so I will still be doing this after I graduate, because it's my hobby. It's something I love, and it's not something I'm just gonna very quickly throw away to not do. But yeah, but also experiencing my experiences so far since first to third year now. Obviously, friends have been up and down and stuff, but I found a good group of friends now. Like, they don't know each other just because I met them from, not everyone knows each other, but I'm pretty happy with my group of friends and stuff. And obviously I
been given quite a few opportunities to put on my CV, such as being part of the K-pop Society committee. I was the social media basically manager stuff for the society last year. I wouldn't say it was the best experience, but it's it's an opportunity I could put on my CV. I've been given opportunities for free trips. So like in, I think, first year, my school, which is the English communication school, they gave out like an announcement that we could go on a trip to Bath, and we would go to Mary Shelley's and Jane Austen's house, because their houses are literally a couple houses, like doors between each other. And it was free, so I went with my friends, and it was so interesting actually, and it was actually really nice, and I got to spend the day out at Bath with my friends, and it was free. Like, how can you not put that down? Like, how do you not want to do that? It's free, why wouldn't you go? But it was really fun. And obviously just simple experiences of just independence, responsibility, and budgeting is such, I think, a nice way for a uni to experience. Like, even if you think, oh yeah, but I've been independent when I went on like an overnight trip at school, or like I went on a French exchange when I was in school, and that was a week in France in June at one point. And yes, that was my first time away from home, but being on a school trip without your parents and being alone at university are just two totally different things. And I've actually been grateful to experience, building my own independence and responsibility and other skills for living alone at home. Not at home, but at my accommodation. But yeah, it's been really nice. I get to plan my day, how it goes, which I do love. And yeah, honestly, like I said, experiences have been up and down, just like any normal person would have at university. But overall, I've been like enjoying it, of course, and not including like the stresses of just being a student, but having a social life and get to go out with my friends and stuff has been really nice as well. And obviously, if you guys watch my channel, you know that I go out with like specifically my friends like Kelly and Sophie. We've gone out together a few times, which has been really, really nice. We do fun things. Or I go over to my other friends in the comms, and we would catch up, we would have a nice dinner, either order out or, whatever. And it's still really nice to do that, and, just to plan something for, even like my friend's birthday was the other week. I went out with her yesterday, and it was still really nice. And we also studied a little bit, which was nice. So yeah, having the experience of just planning out like what you want to do, no restrictions really, besides just be responsible, it's really nice. And I think people low-key take that for granted, because I'm not someone who goes out every weekend to go out drinking and clubbing. It's not my vibe, honestly. And I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. So I find other things fun, that doesn't involve alcohol, because I'm not gonna lie, I do not want to be experiencing a headache at 10 p.m. every weekend, or Asian flush, because that I look like a tomato. Honestly, I do not like that look on me. So yeah, but I've been having fun and stuff like that, and it's been really nice. But sometimes I do miss going home and having my mother's home cooked meals. That stuff is good. Plus, I don't have to cook myself. But other than that, honestly, it's been nice. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode with me today. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to podcasting-ish. Hopefully get better. But if you haven't already, if you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications to be notified when I next post. Obviously, this will be on my own channel, so I'll be posting normal videos every Sunday at 11 a.m. British Standard Time. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, follow the podcast and make sure you download it, whatever. I don't actually know how that works. All I know is you just download and add it to your library, so make sure you do that anyways. Don't forget that podcasts episodes come out every other Friday at 1 p.m. British Standard Time. Obviously, like I said, this is non-recorded, as in video recorded, so feel free to come back always to listen anyways. But I'll see you guys in the next episodes. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.